tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads from over 200 countries and your number one source in after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Welcome to the Lottery AFTERBUZZ. If you guys are hearing the Mockingjay, the Hunger Games whistle, it is on purpose, because if you saw last week's episode of the Lottery, which is called Sleep Deprived, you will understand why. Yeah. Welcome to AFTERBUZZ, guys. My name is Monse, here with my co-host for the day, Marina Santos. Hi.
Hello, guys. Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Marina and I just did a show together, so Here we are doing another one.
BFFs.
Seriously, we do every show together. That's the only way it works here in AFTERBUZZ for us. But we are really excited. Unfortunately, Stefan and Candace are not here today. They hopefully will be back next week. But we're very excited to be back. We skipped last week. There was no new episode this week, so we're covering...
You worked out perfectly.
So it worked out perfectly. We're covering last week's episode called Sleep Deprived. Let's get right into it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Very Hunger Games, right?
It was so Hunger Games. Oh my gosh.
From the beginning, like the first thing we're told is competition day one. And we see the 200 potential surrogate mothers dressed in all white and... immediately Hunger Games, right?
Yeah, they have all these weird competitions to see if they're good moms. Like they have physical activities, like you have to be able to run. I don't know how much.
Or how they were making them wake up and do a simple logical test or something to go back to sleep.
Yeah, you wake up to a baby screaming.
A baby screaming? No, that's crazy. Yeah. The first thing we see is competition day one. And we see that the contestants and the first lady are very emotional because they just saw a baby, a video of a baby. But one contestant or one potential surrogate mother is not emotional. Perry Summers.
Perry doesn't give a crap.
She doesn't. I think in the episode, she's like, maybe I don't want a baby. Yeah. And the other contestants were like, don't say that. Yeah. What are you doing? She made a friend.
Yeah.
She's a friend.
Yeah. Well, she's the only one being honest, right? Because they make it so clear, like you were being watched 24/7 by everyone in America.
Yeah.
And so everybody's just being so fake and acting like they're perfect, right? Like Perry was complaining about the fitness
the fitness test of it, yeah.
Test that they had to do, and she's like, it was horrible. I walked. They're like, oh no, but you just gotta pace yourself and be good and do this. And she started complaining, and they were just like walls.
Yeah, very Stepford Wives.
Yeah.
Of the ones that they were talking, because it was Perry, her roommate, and then these other two potential contestants who seemed very,
Yeah, everybody's just playing for themselves, right? It's a game.
Right.
It became a game instead of being something special.
But her roommate has a different perspective.
No, her roommate is actually honest and real, but she wants it really bad. So she keeps trying to bring Perry back to reality and to the good side of what is going on.
Right. But let's talk a little bit about Perry. In this episode, Perry gets a knock on the door of her room, and I thought it was like a Secret Service agent.
Like a Men in Black.
Yeah, like
guy.
a Men in Black comes. Yeah, I just meant it was Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones showed up to her room and escorted her to the roof of the facility. And there was a phone, there was fresh air, and what else?
Guitar.
And a guitar. That's right, her guitar. Yeah. And she had 30 minutes, I believe is what they told her, before she had to go back downstairs to meet up for dinner or whatnot. Then later in the episode, she goes back to the same spot. This time, her friend is there, the first lady. I was shocked.
I was very shocked the whole thing. First, I thought they're going to kill her. When I noticed that it was like the roof of the building, I was like, oh, they're pushing her down and say she fell. And then it wasn't, and I was very surprised that they let her, use the phone for 30 minutes and
call anyone she wants.
Yeah, anyone she wants. Nobody's going to be supervising. And play your guitar, have fun, whatever. And then I also thought that the First Lady really did not like her because in the previous episodes,
Right.
just the way she's looking at her and like questioning how Perry is acting.
Right.
And then out of nowhere, well, but you know what? That one lady said something to the First Lady first.
Yeah,
Before she got all nice to Perry.
Yes, she told her that who she was, and then the First Lady was like interested in knowing more about her. I think the First Lady just likes her attitude.
Yeah.
Just as kind of likes that she's different from everyone else because she is. Everyone else seems to just agree with everything that they're being told. Even her roommate, like we said, her roommate is very real and down to earth, but really wants this, so seems to be doing whatever she needs to do to get this baby. Perry, on the other hand, is kind of like, to me, it's like, I thought I was going to be famous.
Yeah.
Like, I thought this was going to be like, didn't she say like a game show? Like a reality show? Not at all what she was expecting.
Yeah.
But she's the one getting...
Yeah, she's not willing to change herself, which I think is truly what they want, right? They want people who are going to be real, to be the parents, right? Not just have this child because it's going to bring them popularity, because it's going to change their lives, and I think she really liked that. But I don't know if she saw that until she talked to the lady. The lady was like, I'm really liking watching this girl. Her name is Perry, and she's my favorite because she's honest. She says it how it is. And I think that kind of woke her up because I don't think she knew how to think about Perry.
Right, I agree. That's probably right, that the First Lady at first was unsure. If maybe, you probably don't want somebody like Perry being the face of the next surrogate mother for the next 100 babies.
Right. Because it looks bad on the country, right? Oh my God, they picked this woman who, failed in every single task and she doesn't even want a kid. She just wants to be popular.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's true. She's very honest and she's just being herself.
Right.
So it's an interesting relationship. I mean, we didn't get that much out of it. We just learned about it. So it'll be interesting to see what happened in the next few episodes with Perry and the First Lady.
We're about halfway through the season. The season has 10 episodes, and this is number 6. So we're about halfway, and we're starting to see a lot of people's true colors. And Vanessa is starting to figure out people's true colors.
Yes.
Vanessa, at first, I think I may have said it a few weeks ago that I thought she might have been a bad guy.
Yes, you did.
I did.
I remember.
And now I'm like, oh, Vanessa just has no idea that there are bad guys surrounding her, like Darius. But I really liked Vanessa in this episode. I liked how she went to Nathan's father and was like, demand answers. Demand answers. I'm not going to lie. I was a little disappointed as to how Darius once again got what he wanted. I felt it was very easy, just kind of giving him the hero story, because I'm sure you guys saw the episode. I'm sure that's why you're here. But she goes back to Nathan's dad and tells him to demand questions or answers from the president and from Darius based on what happened to the diplomats in China. And they have this meeting, and Darius, after the fact, basically gives him what he wants to hear. He tells him that Nathan shot 2 terrorists, refused to give any information.
But this wasn't until afterwards,
Right.
hidden from the president and from Vanessa.
Right.
It was a separate meeting.
Yes, Darius did this alone and told him that he died a hero. And then Nathan's father cried,
And believed it.
and left. Darius.
Oh, so bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to really dissect Darius. Darius's character is so interesting. We keep finding more about him. He's like we're peeling layers off of Darius. And the more we peel, the more evil he is.
Yeah, we know he's a bad guy. I don't think there's any question. He's behind everything that's going on. And actually, in this episode, he kind of took responsibility for what happened to the diplomats. I think it was the first time they admitted, like, yes, we did this.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, now we know for sure that they are the bad guys. Because before it was all implied.
Right, because he was with
the army
guy, and they
general.
realized that their plan isn't what's being executed. It's Vanessa's plan.
And Vanessa became a problem now, and she keeps going behind and trying to figure out what happened. And what caused her to go to Nathan's father was that she was trying to investigate behind the scenes.
Right.
And the guy, the security, I don't know what his name is.
The CIA, they told him it was, I know, at this point I was like, this is crazy that Darius has this much power.
He closed the case completely. So nobody can go in and look at it or investigate it anymore.
Yeah.
And Vanessa was not okay with it, and she knew that Darius was behind it, and she knows that he's starting to realize that she's going after this, so she couldn't ask anybody to do that. The only person she could go to was Nathan's father, because he's a very powerful lawyer. And he gets to, you know, set up a meeting with the president.
Right, yeah. But this is, I'm glad we brought this up, because this is, to me, the first time that we start to see how much power Darius has. We've known, like I said, he's evil, all this stuff. But for you to be able to shut down a case, like call the CIA is basically what he said, and close a case, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
he's definitely not being evil alone.
No, not at all. Oh, I just don't know how he has the director of the CIA. That is who he called to close the case. That's amazing to me that he has that power. I mean, he is the head of the Department of Humanity, which we later have realized with Kyle's storyline. Let's move on to Kyle. Move from Darius, the evil guy, to the cutie on the show, Kyle. Kyle gets followed. Well, first, you want to talk about the kiss?
Yeah, well, he first of all, he starts drinking again.
He starts drinking
which
again.
is going to be trouble in the next few episodes.
And Allison tells him, Dr. Lennon says to him, you can't drink and get your son back. Like, that's not how this works. Even though he says, I'm not getting him back.
But he's right. He's right. There's no lawyer that is going to get his kid back.
Right. He's aware of that, but he still shouldn't be drinking. So he's staying with Allison at Dr. Lennon's house. And he drinks, and she wakes up, and she sees him, and they have a kiss, which I was like,
it was very awkward.
Why?
Honestly. Yeah, it was awkward. He was drunk, and it was like, you know, when in TV shows they're looking at each other and you know they're like, oh, they're gonna kiss.
Yeah,
this was like,
yes, I was like why
it was very awkward.
And I don't know, it's just me, but I feel like Allison or Dr. Lennon hasn't been showing that she's interested in Kyle.
Yeah, not at all.
This entire time, I've been like, no, she doesn't care, and all of a sudden you're kissing her. I'm assuming you're just drunk. But then James shows up, her fellow scientist, and it seems as though he kind of likes Dr.
Lennon. I think that he has liked her from the beginning. I mean, you know, it comes across.
Oh yeah,
he's interested,
especially since he's getting beat up to not continue this research that he and Dr. Lennon are doing, and he shows her finally his injuries, and is like, I was followed, I was told to stop doing all this, and he hasn't stopped. So clearly, he has something for Dr. Lennon. But Kyle gets followed by this guy who hands him a card, and they're the Maytus. The day Congress granted extraordinary powers to the Department of Humanity, this group got together because they are against basically the Department of Humanity, and just tells him that this group, that the custody hearing with Elvis was a sham, tells him that, and then tells him that this group wants to meet him, and that's it. At first, I didn't think Kyle was going to go.
Yeah.
But then I was like, he has to go.
No, he will. Yeah. I thought he would.
Like, he has to go. You got to go find out. And he goes and meets this group of people. It's a group of men almost. I didn't see any women.
I don't remember seeing women.
Yeah, I don't think he's seen a woman. But they basically want to take down the Department of Humanity.
They're the rebels.
And they think that they're trying to take the children away. And that makes sense to me. Why Darius wants so much control of this whole process of the lottery would make sense as to why he wants that control. To control the children and to maybe take them.
Yeah.
Because that's what it seemed like.
And especially because, want it or not, those children are probably their best option for newer children, right? These children have the genes of their parents that were able to have children. So I think they are the best option for the population to find out, you know, how to fix what is going on with the infertility crisis. So I think taking them away, one, is going to give them way more control of what is going on. Two, they can investigate the kids and try to find a cure or stop it from happening.
Right. I'm with you. I agree. I just don't... what I'm wondering is how does... do you think the Maytus, because that's the name of the group, is the way Kyle gets his son back?
Eventually. I don't think it might be in this season.
Okay.
But I think it's a group that is going to start stirring things up.
Okay.
Whether it's bringing more people involved and try to get more awareness about what truly is going on. And I think Kyle is going to get, we're getting into predictions here, but I think Kyle is going to get Dr. Lennon involved in the group, because Dr. Lennon also has this prediction, right, that the government caused the infertility crisis. So she's also in a way against it.
Right.
And she knows all the corruption that is going on behind this. So I only think it's logical for them to
get together and discuss all the things that they're finding out. Because going back to how Dr. Lennon, like you just said, she's doing her own research with James. They find out that this plane crash that happened with Dr. Kessler, the plane crash that they had been studying with this doctor was reported to have happened in Greece, but it actually took place in Afghanistan, which is where the infertility first started.
Yeah.
So it seems as though people knew that this was going to happen. And she does say that she tells Vanessa at the very end of the episode, she tells Vanessa that she thinks that the government is responsible for the infertility crisis. So yeah, possibly they're going to have to at least combine forces. I just didn't, based on this episode alone, I didn't see how much Kyle was going to really join or partake in this group. I didn't see how much more we were going to see of them. It was very kind of like, yeah, they're meeting and he's getting this info, but it didn't seem like it was going to really carry the story forward based on this one episode.
In this episode, we just didn't really get much information about it. It was a little strange. He shows up there and these people are throwing like bocce. I don't even know what that was.
Yeah.
But it was very random. And then he's like, oh, here's Kyle. We've been wanting to meet you. But then it kind of just dropped and we didn't get any more information. So I hope within the next few episodes, they give a little more explanation of how the group came together and how it got started. I know it started when because they're against the Department of Humanity, but why? Like, do those men have kids that were taken away?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on and what they have been doing with the group?
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see. And I, Vanessa, same thing. I think this is really hurting her in a personal level, and she's not gonna just let go, especially now that she knows for sure that Darius is involved. The fact last episode when she finds out that it was Darius' apartment after all, because it was
Crystal City.
His daughter was staying there. So I think we're being let down in terms of a little bit of character development or just the storyline.
You read my mind. I was gonna say, I feel like the story has not progressed much. It's slowly progressing, and it's kind of like, well, we could cover the whole episode could have been covered in 30 minutes versus an hour.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, it's moving very slowly. We're not really getting a lot more.
Yeah, we're getting information. We're getting more information, but I think they're leaving behind other parts that for us have been important, right? Like, what is going on with Darius' daughter? Like, she wasn't a big part of the first episode, and not the first episode, but the
last episode.
And then she disappeared. Like, what is going on with these characters they introduce and then they're disappearing? Like, Connor's husband.
Right.
That was amazing. I'm sorry, but he wouldn't just drop it and think it was fine.
Yeah.
So I hope in the next few episodes they'll bring these people back or connect the dots so it's more clear for us on what is truly going on in the show, and hopefully it just kind of makes sense and it flows well.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that too, because I'm actually really curious about Elvis. Where's Elvis in all this? I know he's being held in the facility and all this, but what's he going through?
Yeah, we haven't heard from him or the mom. After the trial, she just disappeared.
Once again?
Yeah, like once again, she disappeared. She was here with us.
Yeah.
Which was great, and then she disappeared.
I know, she was literally here. And then she's gone again. Yeah, there's a lot of loose ends to the story. But I'm not saying you're losing me. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I hope you're going to tie all of these loose, because there's a ton.
I love how
it's intense. That's how angry I am about it. I just hope you guys tie all the loose ends that we are getting. But I'm hoping that we're gonna see a little bit more progression in what Vanessa and Dr. Lennon find out. Because it seems to me what they have figured out the last two episodes. It's still the same information. We know that Dr. Kessler, something's off with that. Vanessa knows something's up with Darius. But yet, again, like I said earlier, Darius finds a way out.
Yeah, and we should bring up Darius back because there's a scene where he's talking to, I don't know his title, the army man. And in the end of the episode, and they're talking about killing the president.
Yup. Because he says, Darius says they have to remove obstacles.
Right, and the man, we need to figure out his name. I promise we'll have his name by the next show.
The army guy with
the
Darius.
army guy who is high up there, he says, oh, you mean Vanessa? And they're like, no, somebody higher
than that.
Which it can only be the president.
Right, that's totally what I got. But I'm just wondering, it's like, Darius, you have all this power. How have you not already overthrown the president? That's shocking to me. You called the CIA and closed the case.
I don't think he wants to. That's the thing. I don't think he wants to. I think the president can be easily
persuaded.
Yeah, persuaded.
Okay.
Thank you. I think he thinks that the president can be easily persuaded, and if he can be the president's right hand, then he can do whatever he wants without the attention being on him, right? Because whatever happens, it's the president's fault. Nobody sees what's going on behind. And I think what turns out is that Vanessa has been the president's, right arm, right hand.
Right.
And he really believes in her and trusts her. And that has become a problem.
Right.
Which makes me think, like, why wouldn't they just get rid of Vanessa? But at the same time, it's going to cause problems if they do that. So, I don't know.
I'm wondering, I agree. The whole trust with Vanessa and the president, it seems like a little bit weird. But it's like, Vanessa, why don't you just tell the president what you know? If you have such a good relationship, why don't you just tell the president? That's
another thing. I think, why hasn't she told the president?
Yeah, why?
No, she has proof that Nathan met with Darius the night before he was kidnapped. And she has proof that he was at Darius' apartment in Crystal City.
But that's all the proof she has. Because in the episode, at the beginning, they show her with her brother.
Oh, yeah.
Who I didn't know was her brother until now. And then her brother's like, come on, just tell me. And then she tells him. And then he's like, you have to do something. But then she tells him, I don't have, like, concrete proof aside from the fact that they did know each other. That Nathan, Connor's... What was his name?
Husband,
the one that I can't even think of his name.
I don't know his name.
But Connor's husband that was killed, or that killed himself, and that was trying to tell Vanessa something, where he was like, Vanessa,
no, his name is Connor.
He's Connor.
He is Connor. I was
Gotcha.
talking, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Connor who killed himself, that's the only thing she knows, is that Connor was at that house in Crystal City, or that's the only proof she really has. But she claims she doesn't have a ton of other proof, but I think she does. I feel like she has enough information to move forward. Yeah. And she keeps sitting on it. The same thing with Allison. Yeah. You have enough information to move forward. Why are you just sitting on it?
I mean, because, I understand Alice's point of view, because she, she's in their hand. Right. They're doing whatever they want with her, and they almost killed her once, and she's under this contract that she has to do whatever they want. So I understand her being a little more hesitant, but Vanessa... I understand you don't want to go to the president with anything that happens, right? We know that, but this seems to be a very serious case, and I don't think she should go and say, this is happening. She should run by him, like, I have reasons to believe there is something else, not accuse Darius, because I think the best solution would be for the president to be aware of
the situation,
and then he can make up his mind for himself and then have a better vision of what truly is going on and keep an eye on Darius, right? Right. Because maybe Darius is able to give more to the president than he gives to Vanessa, because obviously he knows Vanessa's up to something, but he doesn't know that the president is up to something.
Yeah. I mean, I feel bad. We're here talking smack on Vanessa. Maybe she's fearing her life. Maybe she thinks Darius is gonna potentially kill her or something, because she obviously knows what he's capable of. But I'm with you. It's like, I feel like if she were to tell the president, not necessarily like you said, don't go and attack him, but go and inform him, maybe you guys can find a way to find more of the truth, because clearly they don't know the truth.
Right, because it also affects, I think Vanessa sees this as a personal thing for her. She's going after this because she loved Nathan. And but it also affects the president, right? The people in his staff are going behind his back and doing certain things, and other diplomats are dead. Let's not forget that. Like, where are their families?
Yeah.
So it's something he deserves to know. It's a big thing that they're able to organize this whole what is it called? I forget the word. I just blanked. This whole mission. It's not a mission.
The lottery, essentially?
No. I'm talking about the kidnapping of the.
Oh, yeah. How the mission, the whole. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how were they able to organize this whole thing and nobody knows about it? Yeah.
I know. Clearly, the influence, the power, the people involved with Darius are not the same people running the White House. Mm-hmm. And correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, but don't you feel like this lottery is kind of a way to distract the president and the first lady and Vanessa? They're so concentrated on this lottery that they're not worried about the other stuff. Like you just said, the 4 diplomats were killed, and it was just kind of like.
I agree, but at the same time, they don't want the lottery to be happening. Darius makes it very clear that.
That's true.
Darius
was against it.
You're
right. Yeah.
So I don't know, but at the same time, I don't know what they want.
Yeah.
Like, we still don't know, like, why are they doing what they're doing?
Loose ends.
Yeah.
Lifetime. Loose ends. This is what we're talking about.
Yeah, we don't know what their end goal is, we want this. That we know they're doing all these things behind the scene, but we don't know why or what they want.
Yeah. Well, we're halfway. So we're really hoping that we're going to get some answers to all of our questions.
Yeah.
Because we're just kind of like, this is what's happening, but we don't really know. Mm-hmm. Now, since on this episode, we saw a little bit more of how the competition is between the potential surrogate mothers, I ask you, based on what you've seen so far, would you put yourself in that position to be a surrogate mother? The world is infertile. This is it.
No, but, I come from a place that I don't even know if I want to have kids, and we're in a fertile world.
So you don't think I feel the same way. I was like, I don't know if I would do this, especially after what they're going through. Like, the tests that these women are going through don't necessarily make you a good mother.
Not at all.
No. Like
you learn with experience, and they don't have any experience because there are no kids for them to have any experience.
Right.
But keeping them in a cage where they can't even see the sunlight or fresh air is not the solution.
Not at all. And it doesn't count when the first lady has those goggles on and is holding a baby. At the end of the episode, she has these goggles on, and it looks like she's holding a baby, and then the president walks in on her. It's so awkward because it's like, I don't have a baby, but I want a baby.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I'll mention in predictions, but there's something with the first lady that is going to happen, I think.
Well, we kind of went through the whole episode. Let's just go into predictions.
Why not?
Why not?
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Marina, I'm excited.
All right, so I may have seen a little clip
Ooh.
of an interview with her on the Lifetime website about the lottery, and it was just her talking about her character and how she does want a baby.
Yes.
So she really wants a baby. She doesn't know how to tell the president that she wants a baby, but she wants to use the fact that he has this power to maybe get a hand on one of those embryos.
Huh. What if that is why she likes Perry? Because what if, okay, hypothetically speaking, predictions. Yeah. What if Perry gets picked, because I know that the public has to pick her, and then Perry's like, no, I don't want this baby. Where does this baby go?
Yeah, exactly. Or another possibility is that Perry gets pregnant, she has the baby, and maybe she is a good mother, but the government finds her an unfit mother, and just like Elvis just takes her away.
Yeah.
And then the first lady will have a baby.
Interesting. Yeah, the first lady, I was like, this is awkward.
Yeah.
Especially when the president walked in on her, instead of it being like an emotional thing, like, we don't have children and this makes you emotional, I understand that. It was very awkward.
Yeah.
Which is, I was like, why? You just something. And now that didn't know about that. That's interesting.
What else? I think Kyle, I think we're going to see a lot more of Kyle and the group. What are they called?
The May 2s.
The May 2s. And like I mentioned earlier, I think Dr. Lannon will get involved with the Maychews. And because Dr. Lannon will get involved with the Maychews, eventually Vanessa will also be involved with the Maychews. Because now the Dr. Lannon told Vanessa that she thinks the government was involved with the infertility crisis. And everything that's going on with Nathan and Darius, I think she's going to keep digging.
Yeah.
And it might not be, it might be like a cliffhanger at the end of the season or something like that, but I think they're all going to be conspiring against the government and in Darius specifically.
Okay, you mentioned this, not to go too away from predictions, but you just said something that makes me want to ask you something else. You said there's probably going to be a cliffhanger at the end of the season. Do we have a season 2?
Crickets.
Crickets.
Well, like you said, the ratings are not doing so well, right?
Yeah, Marina and I read in an article where it said that the very first episode of The Lottery had 1.08 million viewers. That's not very good, but for
It's
Lifetime,
not horrible, it's not amazing.
but for Lifetime, it's good.
Yeah, for Lifetime.
Just for Lifetime. But then it dropped significantly over the weeks, and this last episode had 664,000 viewers.
That's not
That's
great.
not very good.
Yeah.
And people, this article that we were reading, you didn't read the comments. I was like scrolling through the comments. Everyone in the comments was like, "This is a great show. Don't cancel it. I just don't think it's advertised right. People don't know about it." And it's true. I tell people about the show, and they're like, "What? Is that about the you win money?" Like, people have no idea about this show. So I don't know if it's that you need to advertise it properly, because I like the concept of the show. I like the idea.
Yeah.
It's different.
Well, I definitely think they could have done a better job with the advertising and getting the word out, because honestly, you probably as well, but we didn't even know the show was starting until
The day it started.
Until the day we're here watching the first episode, because we needed more hosts.
Yeah, it was I agree. Nobody knows about this.
Right? And maybe it's because Lifetime doesn't have as big as a budget as, Fox
Or
or
ABC,
or ABC, which is understandable.
Right.
But I'm sure they could have found other ways to get the word out. You know, social media.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they did on the social media. I don't know, but I think it lacked a little bit, and I think the people that did show up in the first episode were Lifetime fans, and also the extra people that usually watch other networks, other channels,
Right.
because they were interested. Because obviously it's not something normal for Lifetime, but maybe they were a little disappointed with. Let's be honest, the first episode, in my opinion, was not
Right, and we were just talking about this, how certain
amazing.
TV shows, you have to they have to hook you after, you don't get hooked right away. You mentioned Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I saw the first episode of Breaking Bad and I turned it off. But everyone keeps telling me, you gotta push through.
Yeah, it took me a year. Yeah, to get back in it.
So, and we did a show, Murder in the First, that was all on TNT, and it had a rough start too, and then it ended really well, and we don't know if it got picked up for a second season. So it kind of makes me feel like this show, maybe on ABC, if it had these ratings, wouldn't be picked up, but it's Lifetime.
Yeah.
Maybe Lifetime will keep it, for a second season.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
My prediction on whether we're going to get a second season is I don't know. But my prediction on the show for the upcoming episodes, I have a feeling that there's going to be some sort of altercation, like a physical altercation, and it's going to come down between Darius and Kyle. It has to. And it's going to be basically because he's going to find out all of this information, because I don't think Kyle really knows anything. And I think the Maychews, this group, is going to give him all this information. Then he is, like any normal father, he's very passionate about Elvis, is going to try and take it onto his own hands. And I think he's going to go and maybe confront Darius, and then that is the way to basically incarcerate or put Kyle in jail and have him away from everybody. Because it seems as though Darius wants that. Like, they don't like. I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like this is what's going to happen just based on Kyle's character and how much he loves Elvis. If you find out all this stuff, if he finds out that they are doing things to Elvis, he's not going to sit back and not do anything about it. So that's my prediction with that. And I hope that Allison, Dr. Lennon, and Vanessa will share all the information that they know, all the information we've learned over the episodes, and finally go tell the president. or finally just go tell somebody else
Yeah.
instead of each other. Doesn't work, guys. Your little triangle doesn't work.
Yeah, there's not enough power.
It's not enough power. And Vanessa, you just gotta strap on a pair and go take on the world, because it's up to you, Vanessa. Sorry, Dr. Lennon, you're like a puppet right now.
Yeah.
So,
I
but I think that's it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next few episodes.
We're
because
very-
a lot
yes.
can happen and it can go many different directions.
Yeah, you guys can be proving us wrong right now.
Yeah.
And then next week we're gonna be like, we love the show. Not that we don't love it, we just like it.
Yeah,
we
we
like
like it.
it. We like it. It could be
get
better.
here.
So we hope so. All right. Well, guys, if you want to follow Marina, where can we follow
Yes,
you?
you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Rena Brazil and on my website, the30daytrial.com. How about you, Monse?
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos. Feel free to tweet us. Comment if you have any questions. Tell us
Yeah.
whether you would be a surrogate.
Let us know what you think of the show,
Yeah,
too.
let us
Do you
know.
want it to come back?
Yeah. Do you feel like everybody on that article that wants them to come back? Tell us. Just let us know what you think. All right.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week.
We will definitely see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.